this afternoon. She wrote, "You weren't joking. You hide your misogyny and your racism behind your jokes on ABC. This was a dog whistle to the violent left to assault me or worse." And you're misspelled "you're," of course. Well, that's nice. She thinks I have fans. I guess that's good. But now listen, not only don't I condone death or any kind of threats against anyone, especially as I get dozens of them a week myself. Compute this woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of.
Raise your hand if you've ever wanted to call the cops because someone made fun of you. Well, congrats. You're more mature than a sitting member of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene just went full Karen and dialed 911 over a Jimmy Kimmel joke. If you've ever dealt with a thin-skinned boss or a drama queen friend, you'll appreciate the absurdity of this political temper tantrum. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What's going on with politicians these days then? Do they have an allergy to laughter? Every small joke makes them look like they're freaking out.
If she's gonna report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police, I'll go to the Justice League. Note to Jimmy Kimmel, not only would Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband make quick work of you, but Rep. MTG herself would make quick work of you. Kimmel would not last too long if he were interested in engaging in unprovoked, terrible violence against this congresswoman. Keep wearing a mask. Well, Senator Cruz replied to this. That was not written to him. Bizarre. 535 members of Congress can attend the State of the Union without wearing masks. Still not good enough for Hollywood.
We have a doozy for you today, boy. Imagine this. Sitting in her pajamas at home, Marjorie Taylor Greene is most likely watching late-night TV and browsing Twitter. Just another day in a congresswoman's life, isn't it? False. She had no idea that the most deadly weapon in human history, a joke, was going to completely upend her world. Here comes our late-night hero, Jimmy Kimmel, who only has a microphone and his humor. His punchline, "Where's Will Smith when you need him?" is a bomb. Boom. Like a confetti cannon at a depressing clown convention, MTG's emotions blow up. The majority of us would now either laugh it off or perhaps respond with a zinger of our own. Not our Marjorie, though. She has a better idea, oh dear. Why not dial 911? Since nothing shouts emergency like a comedian going about his business.
On our show Tuesday night, MTG, Clan Mom as we call her, earlier in the day, called 3 of her fellow Republicans pro-pedophile for supporting Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination. She tweets. After she saw it, she tweeted, "ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police." She called the police. After processing the fact that someone called the police on me, believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life. I tweeted back, I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke."
Isn't that right? That 911 call? Can you fathom it? "Hey, police, I want to report a serious case of emotional distress. Send a backup right away." The dispatcher must have had to turn off their microphone to avoid giggling. The worst part is that MTG did in fact lodge a complaint with the Capitol Police. Kimmel's quip, she said, was a threat of violence against her. What a comic emergency. Punchlines, I suppose, are more harmful than real punches in her world. The entire scenario is as absurd as a chicken attempting to cross the street during rush hour. MTG seems to have forgotten that she is a public figure rather than a fragile snowflake that will melt at the first hint of fire. Not to mention that this is the same MTG who has experience with controversy. More sexy comments have come from her than from a clumsy waiter in a chili cook-off. However, it seems that when it comes to a harmless joke, she can give but not take. When MTG called 911, the public's response was as empathetic as a cat watching its owner fall over a toy mouse. People may have to actually contact 911 to get out of their current situation, since they are rolling their eyes so much. It's as if MTG happened upon a roast and mistook it for a BBQ. You need to be more resilient than an alligator wearing a leather jacket in the political arena, honey. Well. This political cookout appears to have devolved into a full-fledged comedic roast due to MTG's thin skin. And you know what, people? Jimmy Kimmel was only warming up. Kimmel, our favorite comedian, viewed MTG's small 911 stunt as the key to getting into Laughtown, and he made a ton of money. He turned MTG's overreaction into a comedy goldmine by continuing to crack jokes night after night. It was both humorous and somewhat depressing, like watching a cat attempt to catch a laser pointer. Going all out, Kimmel referred to MTG as a full drama queen. Can you imagine, really? Is a politician acting out of character? I realize it's shocking. It's like saying that a fish is excessively wet. Kimmel, however, was not finished yet. At a birthday party, he had more jokes than a magician. But there's still more. As if this comedy circus couldn't be any more outrageous, Donald Trump, the orange ringmaster himself, enters the scene. Indeed, the former president made the decision to get involved, most likely as a result of feeling excluded from the spotlight. The ever-wise Trump referred to MTG as a great American patriot and called Kimmel a failed comedian. It is a case of the pot calling the kettle pink. Trump couldn't help but make it all about himself because he is Trump. Kimmel's quips, he claimed, were a part of a grand leftist conspiracy to silence the truth, because it seems that every joke is a complex state conspiracy in Trump's universe. Unafraid to engage in a traditional Twitter feud, Kimmel responded with a zinger. "I'm just glad to know that I'm living rent-free in your head, Donald. Oh, get the burn cream, please." However, the amusement didn't end there. Politicians at a free lunch buffet were slower to adopt the strategy than other late-night presenters. Never one to pass up a good joke, Stephen Colbert remarked. MTG called the cops on a joke. I guess she really is pro-life. She wants to give birth to a punchline. What about Trevor Noah? He took it to the bone. Trump defending MTG is like the Titanic trying to rescue the Hindenburg. They're both going down in flames. Quite the double burn. Comedy gold swept across the late-night scene as a result of the entire episode. For comic writers, it was like Christmas arrived early. At a quilting convention, they had more material than a fabric store. Comedians were grabbing the chance to make fun of Trump and MTG more quickly than you could say thin-skinned politicians. It turns out, people, that making fun of politicians may be more than simply enjoyable. It's virtually a public service. Who could have known? According to experts, comedy serves as society's safety valve, allowing us to make fun of the powerful without getting into trouble. Democracy's equivalent of a whoopee cushion. The worst part, though, is that it's not just depressing when politicians can't handle a joke. It's frightening. How will they face the real difficult stuff after all if they're getting all worked up over a joke? It is similar to witnessing a firefighter sprint away from a barbecue grill. Not exactly encouraging confidence, is it? So, the next time you hear a nice political zinger, give yourself a pat on the back instead of just laughing. You're essentially a comedy superhero, keeping those politicians on their toes, and you're not just laughing. If you have a sense of humor, who needs a cape?